If you understand why you don't have the results you want, I think it's freeing in a way. I'm not disappointed that I'm not in as good a shape as I used to be. I don't deserve to be as good a shape as I used to be. I don't deserve it. I haven't been putting in the effort. Simple.
Wanting massive rewards for very little is a bad mentality. Wanting huge rewards for very little effort is just a losing mentality. Like, imagine wanting to be an Olympic gold medalist and not wanting to work.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was number 1200, One Thing You Need to Know About Being Alone. Today, for episode number 1201, Do You Deserve to Be Happy? Before this podcast was ever a thing, before Kevin had ever studied or read self-improvement or personal development, before I journaled, before I reflected, before any of that, I did a Facebook Live before Facebook Live was actually a thing. So I recorded a video on my laptop and then posted it to Facebook. And the premise of this video was very simple. And the title of it was, Do You Deserve to Be Happy? And that was the first time I really started leaning into, I don't know if it was philosophy, but kind of in a way, it was me philosophizing about deeper thoughts that I hadn't really thought about before. And I have this I think it's a unique perspective on my idea of success. And this is it in a nutshell. If I believe I understand how to achieve a certain goal, and I do not know what it is or what it takes I do not do what is necessary for me to accomplish that goal, I don't get to be mad if I don't accomplish it. I don't get to be mad if you and I don't have a successful podcast if we know what to do and we don't do it. I don't get to be mad. It's just not fair. It doesn't make any sense, right? It is illogical for you to say, I know what to do, but I'm not going to do it, and then I'm going to be pissed off that I don't get the result. So that really is the point of today's episode. Again, heart-driven, but no BS. That is our brand in a nutshell. But do you actually deserve the results that you are chasing after? A lot of people will say, well, everybody deserves to be happy. Does everybody deserve to be happy at the same level? I mean, everybody deserves a quality of life. Sure, I agree, right? There's a basic quality of life that we, I guess, deserve as human beings, but what is that actual level? I mean, do we all deserve jobs? Do we deserve relationships? That is the point of this episode. And again, this will be a deep kind of philosophical episode, but one of the things, Alan, and I'm sure you've seen this, there's a lot of people out there that they believe they deserve a certain level of relationship. We'll just say relationship, but they haven't become the type of person that is capable of attracting, sustaining, and adding value to that level of relationship yet. So do you really deserve it? Or is that just what you want? Right? There's a big difference between what you want and what you deserve. I would say that Alan and I do not deserve to have the highest listened podcast or the highest listened to podcast in the world yet. We don't deserve it.
Of course not.
Right? But if we believed we deserved it and we didn't have the results, how you react to that is going to create, it's either new opportunities or it's frustration. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with it.
This is going to be very, very good for our listeners. I love this topic so much. Kev, why don't we? So we don't deserve to have the most successful podcast. Can you go into why that is? And I don't mean this inherently. I don't mean like one day we won't or can't or whatever. But right now, no, we definitely don't deserve that. And one of the very obvious reasons is we've only been doing this for 5.5 years.
Yeah.
Right? But can you go into the layers of why we don't deserve that?
I would say, I mean, the easiest thing to say is we have not impacted the most amount of people. I mean, that's pretty much the simplest thing is we haven't, as of today, we've impacted 720,000 people or whatever it is. And again, not every listen is a unique person, but we'll just say that hypothetically. That's one piece. You and I have not evolved to the level where we can actually sustain that yet. That's another piece. you and I are holding ourselves back in many different ways from getting that. That's another piece. We haven't shored up the weaknesses in our characters or our competencies yet. That's another piece. I mean, there's a million layers. We haven't been doing it long enough. That's another piece. We
haven't invested as much money as some of the other podcasters. We are younger. So I'm only 34. Are you 34 yet?
I don't know, man. I think I'm 33.
We're 34. Some of these other podcasters that are more successful have been doing it longer, and they were already at the tail end of their careers.
Yeah.
So this is a really, really important subject. This is one of my favorite topics ever, because I believe in meritocracy. I believe in merit. I believe that we used to talk about this in our country all the time in the US. When I was a kid, I always heard about equal opportunity. Equal opportunity, I believe in, meaning everyone has the same opportunity to at least start a podcast. But not everyone should have the same exact amount of success in podcasting. I have one client who is going to be awesome at podcasting. She's an extremely strong communicator. She's vibrant. She's high energy. She is very knowledgeable. She's wise. She's amazing. She's going to crush it. Not everyone should just be the same at every sport or be the same at podcast. I don't believe in that. This person has more talent, is more capable, is more hardworking, is more knowledgeable, is more everything. And yes, she will achieve results that most podcasters won't. And she's going to invest in Next Level Podcast Solutions, which means the production value of her show is going to skyrocket right out of the gate. It's important to understand that no one... I wrote an article once called The Powerball Mentality. And I've since deleted it because I don't want anything tied to Next Level University that isn't truly world class, other than obviously some of our early episodes of the show. But again, I think that evolution is really powerful to show. And in the Powerball mentality, it talks about how a lot of people have a Powerball mentality. They want to put in minimal effort and get extraordinary results. So imagine this. I'll never play the lottery, never have. Mathematically, it's just the worst idea ever. But the reason why is deeper than it mathematically being a bad idea. The reason why is because wanting massive rewards for very little is a bad mentality. Wanting huge rewards for very little effort is just a losing mentality. Imagine wanting to be an Olympic gold medalist and not wanting to work. It's impossible. There's no point in even trying. You can't be an Olympic gold medalist and not dedicate years and years and years and years and years and years and years into your craft. That's not a thing. That's not real. It's delusion. And it's entitlement. Entitlement is what I call the spoiled kids syndrome. The kid who gets all the stuff without having to work for anything. They go to all the best schools and they get all the early Christmas presents and they have all the vacations and they didn't have to actually work for any of that wealth, but they have all of the nicest stuff, the nicest car, the nicest clothes. Emilia told me this story one time of a person she knew in college, and I'll keep this anonymous, but this hurt me to my core. This bothered me so much. There was a woman at her college, Kev, who was apparently a princess in a different country, genuinely, like a genuine princess. And she had never worn clothes past one time. So she only was ever allowed to. She was only ever wearing clothes once, and then she would throw them out. So, think about how wasteful that is. Think about if everyone on the planet wore clothes only once, and then threw them out because nothing touches this body except for brand new clothing. That entitlement drove me. Oh my God, that in my opinion is a big part of what's wrong with the world. That is the opposite of what I believe is humility, which is I am so grateful I have clothes. I'm so grateful I have a roof over my head. I'm so grateful I didn't pave the roads. I didn't build the phone. I didn't create StreamYard. I didn't create this microphone. I didn't create this country. I didn't create freedom. This is not all me and Kevin. I am so grateful that we have the opportunity to impact all of these people all over the world. And that's why Kevin and I work for it every single day. And this is why I love this topic, because that is a winning mentality. I know some people that were spoiled brats, straight up, and they will never win. And they'll never be in great shape. You want to know why you're never going to be in great shape if you're spoiled? It takes a ton of work. No one deserves to be in shape by default. It takes a ton of work to stay in shape. It takes even more work to get in shape, a little less to maintain it, but it's still, the rent is due every day. Everything in this world has to be earned. It has to be earned through sweat equity, through work. I'm reading right now a book called Wealth of Nations, and it's talking about how a country, everyone's in the economy, essentially, everyone in the country, or the nation in this case, has a certain productive output. And that productive output determines the abundance or lack thereof in the country. And a lot of people think that they should be able to retire at 25 or at 30 or at 35 or whatever. And I never understood it, because it's just very inaccurate. It's based on inaccurate thinking. I know some people that are like, well, I don't really want to work anymore. It's like, well, you're 37. Who's going to take care of you? Like, aren't you supposed to contribute to society? Like, what are we talking about here? And so I get so fired up. That's not real. I don't like it, Kev. I don't like it. I can't stand it. You know why? In what world do we think we deserve great things without effort?
Social media world. Social media land.
Yeah, fake, non-real world. And that's, again, at the end of the day, there are some people who don't have clean water. There are some people who don't have food. I think about that every day. I am so blessed. It's not even funny. And I work for it every day. And I don't want to take that for granted.
I'm Derek Smith, and I just wanted to talk to you real quick about group coaching. I found it to be very beneficial. The biggest thing that I got from it was definitely the tap out and keeping track of the daily habits. It's much easier to get these priorities done when it's scheduled. That way you know that you're doing them first compared to trying to fit them in later. So scheduling it and getting that done first, and then having something accountable every single day to do those, was definitely beneficial. So if you're thinking about giving group coaching a chance, you should definitely do it.
I never, ever, ever want to take that for granted. Can you imagine, Kev, if I'm like, hey, brother, we're going to need a new shirt for Allen Budget, brother.
Yeah,
I don't want to wear shirts more than once, man. I just want to throw them out after.
Pass.
You know? And it's like, no, you could never work with someone like that, Kev, because that's called entitlement. One of the best things that I want to say about Kev is he's not entitled. The fact that you had this mentality, and I remember, I'll never forget listening to that video. I listened to that video on Facebook. I listened to it, and I agreed so hard. No, you don't deserve to be fulfilled by default. No, you don't deserve to go to the best schools. No, you don't deserve a roof over your head or clothing on your back. You work for it. You earn it. Now, yes, can we all have a better quality of life? Can we all aspire to greatness? Yes, everyone can aspire to greatness. Doesn't mean you deserve it by default. Why should I put in 10 years of hard work for a result and then you just show up with the result? It doesn't make any sense. And so at the end of the day, I value the hard work. And I'll tell this story briefly as well. When I first met Emilia, my beautiful girlfriend, I was coming out of a challenging relationship with someone who I do think, is quite spoiled. And at the end of the day, I just knew I could never be with anyone like that again. I will never be with anyone like that again. I told myself that. That was the declaration. And I remember my very first second date with Emilia. Actually, I think it was third. First date, we went axe throwing. Second date, we went hiking in Purgatory Chasm and watched Finding Nemo, which was awesome. And then third date, she cooked me dinner at her parents' place. Her family is successful entrepreneurs, so they have a very, very beautiful home. Okay? This is the first time I'm coming into that home. And I said, wow, this is a beautiful home. And she said, yeah, my parents worked their ass off. And I was like, thank you. Inside of myself, I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much that you care more about the hard work that created it than you do about the shiny object. And I think we live in a world, Kev, of shiny object syndrome. You want a shiny object without the crawling through the mud, and it's just not a thing. And it is a thing, unfortunately, for some people who do get lucky or do go viral or who did have it handed to them or who did have a trust fund or who did get money randomly or whatever. And I'm not trying to say that that's inherently bad or evil or anything like that. What I'm saying is that if you allow someone else's results who didn't earn it through hard work to dictate your mentality, and then you think you deserve those same results, it's a losing game. It's not going to get you anywhere. What is going to get you somewhere is humility, hard work, sweat equity, due diligence, aspiration, goals, virtue, fundamentals. That's what we teach on this podcast. If I had this podcast when I was a kid, Kev, it would have taught me humility. It would have taught me sweat equity. It would have taught me hard work. It would have taught me goals and dreams. It would have taught me how to achieve the life and the quality of life that I desire. It wouldn't have been, okay, it's all just going to work out, because it's not. It's not just going to work out. The fact that things have worked out for us, Kev, is honestly in some ways a statistical miracle, quite frankly.
Well, they haven't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Things really haven't. It's not that they've worked out. It's that we just kept showing up. My goal with this episode is simple. So the simplest form is this. If you understand why you don't have the results you want, I think it's freeing in a way. I'm not disappointed that I'm not in as good a shape as I used to be. I don't deserve to be in as good a shape as I used to be. I don't deserve it. I haven't been putting in the effort. Simple. That for me, that's such an unlock. Like, why do we had that conversation, Alan, you and I in Toronto. And you're like, have you already come to the terms with like the fact that you're not nearly yeah, of course I have. I haven't been putting in the effort. I haven't put in the effort. Of course I have. Like, of course I know that. And that's why I said to you, like, hey man, I don't think you're as close as you think either. I know you've been putting in the effort consistently, but not in the way you used to. I know you don't deserve it like you used to. I know that for certain. What are we doing, right? But that's
half hour a day, son.
Yeah, it's like I know you've done it for X amount of days, but you're not doing it at the level that you used to do it. So you don't deserve it.
100%.
You don't deserve it. Just like I don't deserve it. That's why I'm okay with saying it. That for me is such an unlock, and that's my goal in this episode. If you're not doing what it takes to accomplish it, you don't deserve it. And I used to say this all the time. We all know those people on social media who always air out all their problems. They are always posting their garbage on social media of this person's, I'm sick of getting cheated on and blah, 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 whatever it is, my luck. And I used to say, if you put half as much energy into posting about your problems on social media as you did fixing them, you'd probably have less problems. And that's literally what I'm talking about in this episode. You deserve what you work for. I believe that. Now, again, do some of us get circumstantially screwed and we don't have the circumstances, like we're getting worse than we deserve? Absolutely, of course. And are there some people that get better than they deserve? Sure. That's not the point of this conversation. The point of this is the awareness to understand you can't really be disappointed in the effort that you didn't put in. That's it in a nutshell. And if somebody came to me, say a new podcaster came to me and said, I deserve the level of success you have. No, you do not. Not yet. You can, absolutely, you can deserve what we have. But until you do 1,200 episodes and insert, thing here, I don't think you deserve
massive pain over time here.
Whatever it may be.
No,
whatever it may be. Do you deserve your dream relationship? Not if you're not willing to look in the mirror every day. No, not unless you're willing to work on your character. Not unless you're willing to work on your ego. Not unless you're willing to work on your temper. No, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. And that's really the goal with this episode and really the podcast. I mean, at the end of the day, we are always trying to talk about self-awareness. I want you to understand this because a lot of people are getting lost in the hyper positive, you deserve everything you want. And it's just, that's not true. There's a lot of people making a boatload of money off of that are making money off of your dreams and your goals and your aspirations and your imagination and your lack of awareness. And I don't want that to happen. So that's why I wanted to do this episode.
I appreciate it. This is one of my favorite. Last story I'll tell because I know we got to jump. I was in the gym many, many years ago, many moons ago. And this is when I was really putting in the effort. I mean, I was working out 2 or 3 hours a day. It was almost to the point where it was like too much. But honestly, it was working. the results were there in hindsight, very much there. Kevin and I are in the gym, and I'm single at the time. And there was someone who was very attractive, very attractive young lady.
Sonya Blade.
Sonya Blade, yeah. So Kevin and I used to play a game when we were kids called Mortal Kombat. For the older people listening, you might remember that. And there was a woman in that game called Sonya Blade. She's blonde, in shape, attractive. Again, computer game. / console game, Sega Genesis. And there's also a movie called Mortal Kombat in the late 90s that is a fun movie, and Sonya Blade's in that too. So Kevin said, Sonya, is that who you're talking about? Sonya? Because we both knew what we were talking about. And I was like, yeah, I want to ask her on a date. And you said, okay, if we walk out of this gym tonight and we're hanging out later and you don't ask her out, you don't at least ask. If you don't at least put in the effort to ask, I don't want to hear another word about it. And I was like, whoa. So what did I do? Challenge accepted. I went and got rejected right in the middle of the gym. She's like, no, I have a boyfriend. Thank you, though. But at the end of the day, that's true. If you don't even ask, you can't complain about it later. At least ask. Give it a shot, right? Give it a shot. And in hindsight, I'm grateful she said no, because then I might not ended up with my beautiful girlfriend, Amelia. But you cannot complain about not getting results when you're not putting in the effort. So this is the very, very, very last thing. It's this. Are you, and I do this with Kevin all the time, are we doing all we can with all that we have? Before we sign off, I often say this to Kev, especially lately. I said, dude, let's not get lost here. The reason we got to this place is because we're doing hard things that no one else wants to do. Let's keep doing that. I always say another nail in the structure. Another nail in the structure, another nail in the structure, another nail in your physique, another nail in the business, another nail in the structure. We're building here. We're building a career. We're building a podcast. We're building a business. We're building physiques. We're building a team. We're building here. We're not here to mess around. Life is serious. Life is a serious game. And if you don't take it seriously, it will eat you up and spit you out. Life is a serious game. I learned that as a kid with the hardships I grew up in. My father passed away when I was 2, and I was born into life is a serious game, and nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed, and I knew that from a very young age. You know, and that's what this episode is about, is life is a serious game. Take it seriously. Have fun. Don't get me wrong. Have fun along the way. But life is a serious game. Your career is serious. Your fitness is serious. Your intimate relationship is serious. Your choices are serious. And if you don't take them seriously, I'm telling you, you are going to get eaten alive in this world. And so that's what I've got.
Hardcore Jeff and Jeff. Next Level Nation, if you want to, when are you listening to this? Friday. So if you're listening to this on Friday, it is almost the new year. It might even be the new year. No, it's not the new year yet. It's almost the new year. Join us for our 9th round of group coaching on January 3rd.
You said new year like 16 times.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to do these episodes into the future because I don't know what day it is. I don't know what day it's going to be. The simplest thing, most people want more next level people in their lives. And that is the number one thing, the number one pain point I hear from our community is, look, I can't find anybody like me. Group coaching is filled with people like you. So if you finally want to get around them, please join us.
Also, Kevin and I want our listeners and our global community to start understanding what's available. Next Level University is a lot more than just a podcast. We also have, we have 25 departments. One of the departments is called Next Level Web Solutions. If you're an early business owner and you need a credible website, go to our website, nextleveluniverse.com. That was built by one of our team members at Next Level Web Solutions. His name is Alessandro. You can go to the About page, the About page. You can go to the About page. You can look at all the team members. You can look at all the different services we have. That website was built by Next Level Web Solutions, and we can build landing pages and websites for you. I can promise you this. I have several clients that do web design. We are the cheapest price for the most value. So much, in fact, that my beautiful girlfriend, Amelia, the love of my life, I recommended it to her and to her business partner, Bianca, and they're having their website be created. So we are here to help. We want to provide more value than what we charge at NLU. And if you know that that's what we're here to do. We're here to add value first, be profitable second, and that's what we're doing at Next Level Web Solutions as well.
Boom. Next Level Nation tomorrow for episode number 1202, 1202. The 4 types of relationships you need to know. I'm excited for that one. As always, we love you, appreciate you, grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
And we'll see you at the next level.
you.